We pick right back up after issue 3 with Alicia surprising Satomi with questions about Radiant Red. Satomi is caught off guard and that allows Alicia to maneuver her way inside. She then asks about Owen's whereabouts. Satomi recovers and answers back how is she supposed to know anything about some supervillain. Alicia says she found some holes in Satomi's story the day of the building collapse. She found that no one remembers seeing her that day, and she also found Satomi's name on Nathan Burnett's visitor log. Satomi replies that she went to go visit someone else in the hospital and gave her condolences to Nathan's family while she was there. Alicia catches on and questions who Satomi went to go see at the hospital. Through gritted teeth, Satomi dodges the question by asking why Alicia is doing all this. Alicia replies that she dug up some info on Owen and learned about his absurd debt. Owen and Satomi's movements over the last couple of months, alongside the sudden appearance of a bank-robbing supervillain in the area, paint a peculiar picture. She then tells Satomi that she doesn't have to get dragged down by Owen's mistakes, that there's still a way out for her. Satomi tells Alicia that if her story really were ready to print, then they would only need to reach out via email or something for a comment. Satomi knows that Alicia still needs another source to confirm anything plausible. Satomi then tells Alicia that she should leave. As Alicia heads out the door, she comments that Owen wasn't even trying to hide from the security cameras when he robbed those banks. Satomi and the audience now catch on that Alicia thinks Owen is Radiant Red. Well, at least up until now. Satomi exclaims "Oh, you think it's Owen," out of relief she wasn't the prime suspect. Alicia catches on and says she's off, but only by a little. Alicia's parting words for Satomi are that Satomi needs to take control of the narrative before someone else does, a sentiment that will stay with Satomi. Later, Owen arrives home when Satomi begins apologizing for missing the Game Anon meeting. Owen says it's fine and that there's another one next month. He then asks if Satomi's eaten so he can heat up some leftovers. She actually says she has to head out to work on something. With his back turned, he asks a heavy question, if Satomi is seeing someone else. She just repeats that it's just work, but he calls out her bluff. She confesses that she's been recruited to a job in exchange for usable money. She goes on to explain the situation and how it'll get them out of debt when Owen snaps and punches a wall. Satomi comes to his aid when he breaks down. He cries over what he did and how it pushed Satomi to do some insane things, and that he's sorry that he turned her into this thing. His apology doesn't get the reaction he expected. She gets angry, saying, "What you turned me into?" Satomi snaps back that she didn't do what she did to appease Owen's feelings. She deliberately made her choice to steal the money. Owen comes back saying she's only digging herself into a deeper hole. She ends the conversation saying she's not, she's finishing what she started, and for him to enjoy his dinner as she storms out the house. The emotional beats of this one-shot are some of my favorites. Characters are very three-dimensional, and I look forward to when characters clash like this. Anyways, we cut to Radiant Red and Shift on their way to the lab to start the heist. They make it to the entrance. Shift starts phasing through the gates and lets Radiant Red in. Shift and Red work their way through more doors before they stop at the elevator and wait. The doors open and they meet up with Dr. Hammond, the inside scientist. Dr. Hammond tells them that there's still someone on the floor and that they are going to have to be vigilant to avoid him. Just then, the other scientist in question comes into the room. Dr. Hammond gets to distracting him as he drops his security cards so Shift and Red can continue on without him. Shift updates their eyes in the sky, Tick, about the situation. Tick navigates them the best she can, but accidentally ends up running into the pair of scientists. The other scientist triggers the alarm before Red could subdue him. They start to run, but they end up running into several security guards. We add another cool ability to Red's repertoire as she transmutes more muscle mass onto Shift. The two pummel their way through the guards. One of the guards manages to shoot point blank into Shift's side. Red jump kicks the guard while teasing Shift. Shift says he'll distract the guard so she can just smash her way through the chamber room, since there's no point in being stealthy. Red eventually finds the vat of Mercury S. She starts to absorb the material, and the highly volatile substance changes her appearance into a chrome giant. She circles back with Shift, who's still fighting back waves of guards. Red knocks out all the remaining guards with a gamma quake. She then carries Shift like a doll out of the facility and makes her way back to the getaway vehicle. Red and Shift talk about how even though the plan didn't go perfectly, they still got out of there relatively clean. The van stops, and Satomi mentions that they aren't at the warehouse. In a not-so-surprising turn of events, Guy apologizes to Red before knocking her out, double-crossing her, and we end issue 4. We are now down to one issue left in the Radiant Red one-shot. At this point in the story, nearly everything has gone wrong for Satomi. Alicia's relentless pursuit, the friction in her marriage, and now a double-cross. Satomi declared earlier in the issue that everything she did was her own choice. The unfortunate realization was that Satomi was always a pawn in another person's story. The stakes have never been higher in this series in my opinion. Please look forward to the last entry in my favorite story of the Supermassiverse, Radiant Red, Issue 5, Crime and Punishment. Also, I'm sure you guys have also caught on that all of the issue titles have been named after famous literary works, cause she's an English teacher. I would have pointed it out earlier since the titles say a lot about that issue, but I'll be honest, I'm not smart enough to connect the pieces, and I've also never even read those books to even try to. Anyways, thank you for watching guys.